Alright guys, what is up? It is time for an update video on this channel. It's not often that I'll do an upload, and when I do, I've always got something important to say. Today I want to talk about credit score, hope, and rats drowning in buckets of water. And I'm going to tie it all together for you in just a moment. The reason why this came on, I had a conversation with a couple of my guys earlier on today, and we were talking about the connection between credit score and debt. And a lot of people have this preconceived notion, this plugged-in societal conditioning that leads them to believe that that number, maybe it's 600, maybe it's 700, maybe it's 500, but that specific number on their credit report is the end-all be-all, and that's all that matters, and they want to preserve that at all costs. But the thing that they don't understand, the thing they've been lied to about, the social conditioning that they've been led to believe that is true that simply isn't, is that that is way more important than the debt. And people get very, very attached to that number, and they're disconnected to the problem that the debt creates. And I'm going to tie this all in a minute. First, I want to tell you a story about a study that they did with rats and hope. And humans and rats are very similar in certain fashions. And what they were trying to discover was what would happen if they put this agitator in a bucket of water and they put a rat in to swim in it and see how long it would swim before it drowned. And generally speaking, what they found is the rat would last about 20 minutes before it drowned. And then they changed the test a little bit, and what they did was just before it looked like it was about to go down, they would take it out, dry it off, give it a little bit of food, a couple minutes to rest, and they would put it back in. And what they found, when they gave the animal an opportunity to take a breather, to have an opportunity for hope, if you will, the average time that the rat could swim was considerably longer. I haven't got the study in front of me. I'll try to look it up and maybe link it in the description, but I think it was hours when I was reading this. And the notion of hope plays a big role in people's lives. Now, I'm going to tie this back into the credit card score and credit card debt, because the biggest problem that a lot of people have is disconnecting the debt from the score. They make the credit score the most important thing, when in reality, it's the debt that needs to be dealt with. The debt is like your house burning down, and the score is like the fire department ruining your prized rose garden. This thing will grow back very quickly. This is the big problem. This is the thing that's causing so much stress and financial obstacles in people's lives. It prevents them from doing so many things, prevents them from having the ability to maneuver, and so on and so forth. It is really, really important to disconnect the two and understand that this hopeful number that's manufactured into people's brains and their minds of being of the utmost significance and important has none whatsoever. None at all. The important thing is dealing with the debt. This is a lie. This is a hopeful lie that credit card companies and banks have put out there to convince people to believe that it needs to be preserved at all costs, and dealing with the debt mustn't be touched. The reason why those two connect that way is they want you to look at that score as of something of importance. And they don't want you to do anything different here other than just make your payments monthly. Because as long as they keep you in that cycle, that never-ending cycle of just making your minimum monthly payments until forever, basically. I mean, most statements that we see when they come into our office will say anything on the low end, 30 to 40 years, and the high end we've seen as much as 180 years to pay off debt with minimum monthly payments, because people subscribe to the ego investment that the credit score is the end-all be-all. Need to disconnect from that. You know, the notion of hope, you know, with credit score is obscene. You ask anybody, you know, what has your credit score done for you lately? You know, what did the bank say when you asked them for a loan? And the answer will either be, well, they turned me down, or it's an internal issue, which is I didn't ask them because they already know that they're going to get turned down. Listen, if you're paying 20, 30, 40% interest on items, and you have a credit score that you think is good because it says on the statement fair or good, or maybe needs a little bit of improvement, they're not going to tell you straight up that it's shit. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, you know, they're going to give you some sort of hope to believe that if you subscribe to the notion that this number is protected, then everything will be fine. But all that does is it keeps lining their pockets with gold, because you keep making interest payments for the rest of your life. And that's not the smart way to deal with debt. That is the dumbest way to deal with debt. But it's unfortunate, because that's the social conditioning that most people have. And that's the story or the notion that most people subscribe to when it comes to dealing with their credit card debt. So, I mean, if you guys are ready to unplug, or if you got any questions about what we do here at Total Debt Freedom, we're obviously in the debt negotiation business. We're highly effective at it, been doing it for well over 15 years. You can grab us from the link below and book a consultation to get some more information. But just understand that the hopeful notion that you're getting from credit card companies or bill collectors or anybody with with presentations to you, they're self-interested in preserving the profit margins of flowing the minimum monthly payments to the people that are giving you that little pretend hopeful number that serves no purpose. You want to have a true test of the use of your credit score, that little number? Go to Craigslist, go to Kijiji, post your credit score for sale, mention that you've got an equal amount of debt that's at its limit, and see what people offer you. Nothing. It has no value whatsoever. You know, they tried the same sort of thing in the 20s and 30s. I can't remember the name of the diamond company that had the monopoly in the market. I think it was De Beers or whatever it's called. But they convinced people that a diamond engagement ring is forever, and they created this marketing campaign that started out with you need to save basically 3 months of your annual salary to buy the engagement ring. Nobody's bought engagement rings in the past for marriages or for engagements whatsoever. It's only a recent phenomenon in the last 100 years, and it was because they had a 90-95% monopoly on the entire diamond market. So they convinced the public with smart marketing campaigns, you need to contribute 3 months of your salary to buy one of these shiny little things. And that worked so well, they actually went back and said, you know what, 3 months worked on these sheep, let's call it 6 months, and we'll have them spend 6 months of their salary. So just consider the source at any given time. The hopeful notion of credit score, you got to wake up to it. Unplug from social conditioning that doesn't serve you. Ask yourself this question, at the very least, even if you don't believe anything that I'm saying right now, ask yourself this one simple question. Is what I'm doing working for me? Are you getting out of debt? If you are, keep doing it. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you're struggling and you subscribe to the silly notion of hope and your credit score having some value when it has none, you might want to consider some other options that might work for you. Anyway, if you guys like to chat, our link is in the description below. Our office is available to have a conversation about some options to resolve debt. See you guys later. Have an amazing day. Ciao.